But it's happening everywhere. You know, it's happening in Iran. It's happening in Iraq. We've got protests in Iraq, in Serbia, in Syria. We got 44 million people here that don't have um, the ability to feed themselves. So this is big time, and it's not going away, and it's not going away ever. Um, it's not going to get better next year, guys. It's done. Then this is what I would suggest that you do, and this is what I think everybody needs to do right now. You need to start looking at heirloom seed suppliers, not genetically modified seeds. No, the kind that you buy at your local Walmart. You got to get heirloom seeds that produce seed, that will produce seed, that will produce seed, generation after generation after generation. You need to get your hands on that. You got to get a supply of that for your family. You need to do it now. If you go to my website, my blog actually, that you can find the link down below, I'm going to hook you up with some sources to order, where you can order heirloom seeds. I'm not making any money off these people, but I'm telling you, you got to do it. Get your family's heirloom seed supply. The second thing that you need to do, if you don't know how, you better get some books on gardening. I am here telling you that I've written one on seed harvest and food preservation, gardening, how to. It's a big how-to book for those of us that know nothing about the subject, that we can walk ourselves through how to do this. PreservationPublications.com will get you a copy of that book. You can also get it off of Kindle. The next thing I think we all need to do is keep 10 pounds of organic potatoes in your home at all times. And this is not to eat. You don't eat these. These are to plant. And you can find information how to do that online. You can find that information how to plant potatoes, in gardening books, and although it's kind of avoided, people kind of like avoid the topic because they're so afraid of disease and so forth. And the potatoes that you buy from the market have growth inhibitors on it, so you have to have organic potatoes to plant. And you also need to keep a string of organic garlic in your home at all times, and again, not to eat, but to plant. And this is kind of a really important herb for a couple of reasons. First, because it's great for pest control. Plant it in, around your garden and so forth. It's going to keep the bugs away, pretty much. Two, because it's probably one of the best things you can consume daily for any number of medicinal uses. It's kind of like a wonder drug, if you will. And I think a lot of people that consume it regularly are going to stay a little bit healthier a little bit longer. Now, organic garlic and organic potatoes are a little more expensive than the other potatoes and garlic, but it's worth it because you can grow it. You can grow it. As I said before, I absolutely 100% believe that what we are looking at right now are the effects of peak oil. We're on the downside of peak oil. And over the next course of videos that I do, I'll talk to you a little bit about that and why I think that is absolutely what's going on here. There's not some big magical, mystical monster out there that we can point a finger at and say, oh, that's why, there's no food, because Ben Bernanke's doing his thing, or the federal government's doing its thing, or, big banks are doing this thing, or Wall Street is doing its thing. This is the perfect storm. That's all the only way that I can explain it is the perfect storm. We're living in some really amazing times, all of us. And the thing that's kind of weird about that, when you stop pointing fingers at all of the externals, you stop pointing fingers and assigning blame, and you start to look at what's happening and what's going on, and you start to become proactive rather than reactive by saying he did this or she did that or that or that or whatever, things start clearing up a little bit. I have to tell you that I am not a religious person at all, but there are some weird things going on, and it's called a lot of different names. It's called 2012, Apocalypse, the Great Enlightenment, End Days or End Times, Armageddon, um, the Lifting of the Veil. You can call it whatever you want. Doesn't make any difference to me. I call it the process because it just seems to be the process that we are moving through. But if you can, try to not think in terms of blame, and try to start thinking in terms of action. So, this is how I end every one of my books, and it's how I will end every one of my videos. For our families, our neighbors, our friends, and our communities, preservation.